Ah, yes, the news you Sixers fans have been waiting for. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Sixers Now by Chat Sports. Fill it in for Chase Sr., who's traveling today, should be back tomorrow. Joel Embiid is expected to return to play this week. This is coming in from Woj and Shams and others. He could even be back as soon as tomorrow. That has not yet been determined. But, hey, we were hoping he'd be back for the playoffs, and that appears to be the case, barring something unforeseen. This is why you subscribe to the channel. When breaking news drops, we got you covered with the video. Trying to get to 15,000 subscribers here on the channel, so if you're a die-hard 76ers fan, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Woj had the report first, saying ESPN sources Sixers star Joel Embiid is nearing a return and expected to play this week. The reigning MVP has been out since January 30th with a left meniscus injury. His status for Tuesday versus Oklahoma City is expected later today. So if we get that update later, we'll probably throw a short up on the channel or something like that. So be on the lookout for that as well. But let's go ahead and talk about what we know. Here's Shams as well, saying Embiid and the Sixers are still working to finalize his return date, but it is believed to be any day now. The reigning NBA MVP has completed multiple 5-on-5 scrimmages of practice in recent days, league sources say. Listen, this is clutch. This is big, right? I mean, take a deep breath because, I mean, this team's been running on fumes for about a month and a half now. I mean, it hasn't been pretty. We'll kind of outline how this team has not played well without Joel Embiid later in the video. But this kind of gives you just enough time, because it'd be one thing if his first game back was the playoffs or hell, a play-in tournament game. But even if he's not back Tuesday, let's say he's back for the next game, get 5-6 games under his belt, probably minutes restriction first couple, and then he's fully ramped up for the playoffs. That's huge, man. I mean, if Embiid is full go for the playoffs, that gives you a shot, right? You had no chance to win a playoff series, in my opinion, without Joel Embiid. I think it could have been tricky in the play-in without Embiid, with how this team was playing. Now, who knows, right? Say you get the Bucks in the 2-7 matchup. I don't think that's a hill too tall to climb. I think the Sixers would have a shot. Now, we'll talk about kind of playoffs and all that kind of stuff later on as well, but there's just no replacing this guy. It's as simple as that. I mean, he's the reigning MVP for a reason. He was having an MVP caliber season again this year before having the meniscus injury earlier this season. In fact, a lot of metrics would say he was having a better year this year than he was last season. So, look, I'm excited about this. Producer Jake Chipper, who's in charge of our Sixers content, I know you're excited as well. This is just in time, Chip, to get him back on the floor for the 76ers.
And I am just so excited. One, I'm happy for him that he's finally back out there in the court, all the injuries he's always had to deal with. But now you get some time here to ramp it up. He's been in 5-on-5s recently, dealing with contact. Even if you get, as you said, 5 games, 4 games, he's back before the play-in. I might be optimistic, but, man, this team was on a tear when he was still here. I mean, 26-8 with Embiid this season. I think they can compete with pretty much anybody in the league when he's healthy and playing at his highest level. And we're starting to get some of these players back. We see Covington's coming back soon. Melton will be back soon. Look, if this team's full strength, it's scary. I'm just excited to see this team play a good brand of basketball again, because it's been rough to watch.
Well, and we talked about when they traded for Buddy Hield too. A big point I made, because I filled in on that video as well, is that when Embiid's healthy, I think his impact goes up a lot, because we know Embiid's going to draw double teams. So you find Buddy Hield on the weak side wide open. I mean, he's a knockdown shooter in this league. So he just makes everyone around this team better. So getting him back, I mean, like I said, Chip, without him, I mean, sure, they were going to at least make the play and maybe get into the first round, but chances of winning a series were basically zero at a pretty good Eastern Conference. But now you at least have a shot here.
Yeah, and look, without him, I don't think there was a chance you would have beat Miami in that first play-in game. That's where it currently stands. And after that, I mean, the Bulls, the Hawks, not good teams, but
it's one game.
Embiid, you never know. You've lost to a lot of bad teams without Joel Embiid. So he's back, and like you said, it's going to make everyone's job so much easier. I'm excited to see Tyrese Maxey as well, because he's been tremendous, especially since Embiid went out. Now, if more of the pressure is on Embiid, can Maxey get some easier looks? Obviously, it opens up everything else for Hield and Batum, all these other guys. So it's just perfect timing, and I'm excited to see him out there.
If you guys are excited as we are, spam 21 in the comments. Joel Embiid is back. Hopefully he's back tomorrow, but if not, it appears to be sometime this week. Get those 21s going down below. And coming up, we're going to take a look at the updated playoff picture and project ahead on how things could look with Joel Embiid back in the fold. But first, listen, Factor Meals, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, is the place to go. If you're like Chip and I and you work a lot, when you get home, you don't feel like going to the grocery store and prepping and cooking and doing the cleanup, all that takes hours. Get started with Factor Meals. Their fresh, never frozen meals are chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. They offer over 35 different options to choose from every week. Calorie Smart, their Protein Plus meals. They have keto friendly. There are also more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. Their 2-minute meals, hey, you get them, you throw them in the microwave for a couple minutes, boom, they're ready to go. They have non-microwavable options if you're traveling, if you want to just go with a salad topper, a protein shake, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They got it all. Get going with Factor right now. FactorMeals.com/SixersChat50. That is FactorMeals.com/SixersChat50. They will deliver these meals straight to your doorstep. You can store them in your fridge, and boom, you're set to go for the entire week. And you'll get 50% off with promo code SixersChat50 at FactorMeals.com/SixersChat50. What do you have to lose? 50% off. Give it a try. Tons of delicious and healthy options. Get started right now. All right, speaking of right now, the 76ers playoff picture, that is where we go next here on Philadelphia 76ers Now. This is how things sit right now in the Eastern Conference, as the Sixers are half a game back of the Heat for that 7th seed. Still just a couple of games back of the 6th. They could still avoid the play-in with the strong stretch. I mean, Chip and I were talking about before the show, probably got to at least go, what do you got? 7 games left. You got to go 5-2, probably 6-1 to have a shot. You're going to need some help from either Orlando, probably not Orlando, but from Indiana to get there. But I think the key here is get up to that 7 spot at least and win that first playing game, because you do not want to face Boston, in my opinion. Now, on the flip side, when it comes to Boston and Milwaukee, they do not want to see a healthy 76ers with Joel Embiid. I just think, given the history from the Sixers standpoint with Boston, I'd much rather take my chances with Milwaukee, a team that's been a little shaky since Doc Rivers took over. They've been playing better the last month or two, but they are not some indestructible force. Damian Lillard hasn't had a great year for his standard. Giannis is still Giannis, but I think Embiid can go toe-to-toe with Giannis in terms of just being a dominant force in a playoff series. So then it just comes down to the other guys. I don't think it's crazy to say Tyrese Maxey can outplay Damian Lillard in a playoff series at this point in his career. And we know, at least we feel confident in saying, that Nick Nurse is a better crunch time type of coach than Doc Rivers is. We've seen that play out over the last several years. And look, again, getting Embiid back was the key, because you just look, the proof is in the pudding. Not just the win-loss record, which paints a picture of itself, 26-8 with him, 14-27 without him. I mean, guys, 14-27, you times that by 2, which is a full season, you're 28-54. I mean, you're a bottom 5 or 6 team in this league without him. So you get this dude back, and all of a sudden, you feel like you can do some things. And, I mean, the points per game, it all goes up when he's on the floor. And, look, I think the Sixers just became the most dangerous team in the Eastern Conference that we haven't been talking about the past couple of months. I really do. Now, can they avoid the play-in? We were just exploring that, looking at the standings as well. Well, let's just look at what the Sixers have coming up. Look, even if Joel plays tomorrow, I would guess there's a minutes restriction, and B, the Thunder, that's a tough game, man. First game back and then at Miami, that's a tough 2-game stretch. I mean, realistically, you got to at least split those, and ideally, if you're going to lose one, you'd rather lose to the Thunder and beat Miami heads up to get that head-to-head going with that 7-8 seed situation still in flux. At Memphis, at San Antonio, they're roadies. The Spurs have been better recently, but those are 2 teams you should beat. So say you go 3-1 with that stretch. Detroit at home, I mean, that's about as easy as it gets at this point. It's no games in the NBA are guarantees, but that's close to it if Embiid plays. Magic at home, I think with Embiid, the Sixers are the better team than the Nets at home. So 6-1's not off the table if you split these next 2. I think the rest of those games, if Embiid's playing and is at least close to himself, you're probably favored in most of those games. So if you go 6-1, get a little bit of help from Indiana, I think you got a shot here. You got the Heat heads up here. Obviously, you look at their schedule here. They got a tough game going with the Knicks tomorrow night, so definitely cheering for the Knicks. If the Heat lose to the Knicks and the Sixers beat the Heat, you pretty much flip spots there, so that's going to have Philadelphia at a good spot. At the Rockets, they've been red hot. They finally had their win streak snap, but that won't be easy. At Indiana, it's not going to be easy. At the Hawks, a team in the play-in right now, that's not going to be an easy matchup. Mavericks are now the hottest team in the NBA. That's not easy. Raptors twice. Those are two games the Heat are going to be obviously favored in, but those other ones are definitely easy. If the Heat go, 500, 5-3, if the Sixers go 6-1, you jump them, and then maybe Indiana goes 500 down the stretch, and you catch them as well. So, we can look at their schedule too here. They got Brooklyn for a pair. You're not going to get a lot of help there probably. Maybe the Nets steal one, you never know. But then Thunder game, definitely want to go for OKC in that one. We'll see if you want the Heat or Pacers to win as we get closer. That'll be interesting because obviously you want to leapfrog Miami to at least get home court in that play-in game if it comes down to that. But if you're trying to get to 6, obviously you'd want Miami to win that game. At Toronto, at Cleveland, which is going to be a tough game, and then the Hawks at home. So I think when you compare the Heat and Pacers schedule, the Heat definitely have a tougher stretch the rest of the way. I think if you ranked the schedules from toughest to easiest out of these three teams, I would say Miami's is the toughest, and kind of 2A, 2B between Philadelphia and Indiana. I'd say it's pretty close overall. Got to make up 2 games against the Pacers, so again, 3 and 4, you probably get there if you go 5-2, 6-1. If they go 4 and 3 or better, you're going to have to go 6-1 or maybe even win out. So it's going to be tough, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. And look, if you do somehow get to that 6th seed, the Knicks, doesn't sound like they're going to get Randall or Anunoby back. That's winnable. The Cavs, this Cavs core the last 2 years in the regular season has been awesome, but they have not proven anything in the postseason yet. Say what you want about the Sixers. They're really good in first-round series historically, so that's definitely a favorable matchup. So, again, to me, yeah, we'd love to avoid the play-in if you're a Sixers fan. Just avoid the 8th seed. That's kind of where I'm at. If you can get out of playing Boston in that first round, I think that would be preferred. Now, you could argue, well, if you're going to beat the Boston, maybe getting them in the first round is when you want to get them, but I'd rather worry about them later. Get a matchup you can handle, at least have a better chance early on in the playoffs, and then maybe Embiid's really hitting his full stride by the time the Celtics come up on the schedule if the Sixers do win a first-round series. All right. Lot there, Embiid coming back, playoff picture outcomes and scenarios there to throw at you. What say you? What is the Sixers ceiling with Embiid coming back? Can they win the East? Can they get to the conference finals, a place they haven't been in a very, very long time? I think the word I said earlier is what I would stick with. I think they're very dangerous. There's still a lot to prove. We got to see how this all looks, but let us know what you think the ceiling is, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will continue to keep you guys up to date with the latest. Again, if we get a concrete answer on Tuesday night's game against the Thunder later today, producer Chip will throw up a short on the channel, so be looking for that. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll see you guys soon here on Sixers Now.